Hi.
Hi, my name's James. I'm one of the paramedics of the ambulance service. What can I call you?
Peter.
Peter. Morning, Peter. Peter, that's a bit of a silly question, but how are you getting on?
Oh, well, so.
So. I totally understand. Listen, I imagine you'd probably like to get out of this car, and we'd really like to get you out of here as soon as we can, but with as much comfort as we can afford you. Quite often the best way to do that is for you actually just to get out of the car yourself. So does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, great. So there's a couple of things I just want to check first of all. Can I just get you to move your arms and legs for me?
Arms are fine.
Great.
Just too much pain. Just too much pain.
Oh, okay, no problems. I'm really sorry to hear that. So listen, I won't get you to walk out of this car then. And what we'll do, we'll get you some pain relief and we'll work out the best way to get you out of here.
Oh, thanks.
So Aaron, I've spoken to Peter in the car here. He can't get out himself, but there's no indications for a snatch rescue. There's no immediately life-threatening problems that I can see. But I do want to get him out as soon as we can so I can assess him more thoroughly and more accurately. What's your recommendations?
Okay, we've already got the door open, James, so if you're happy, we'll get aboard him, we'll get him on a rapid extrication, we'll get him out quickly without doing any damage to the vehicle, we'll get him to a safe area, you can assess him better there, if you're happy with that.
That sounds perfect.
I'll go and I'll brief the crew, okay?
Great.
Guys, okay, I just had a chat with James, the medic. So we've got a driver who is not physically trapped, but he needs him out quickly for a bit more of a medical assessment. So what we're going to do, rapid extrication, we got the door open, let's get the longboard in, let's get him out on the board as quickly as we can, move him to a place of safety, and then we can assess him from there, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Hi there, Pete. You okay?
Yeah,
My name's
just hurting.
Okay, mate. No worries. My name's Craig. I'm one of the firefighters. We're going to get you out as slowly and as carefully as we can. We don't want to make that pain any worse
Oh,
than
thanks.
we've already got. Okay. What I need you to do is follow my instructions, and Kieran here is going to help you get out round the other side. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Nice and slowly and gently,
Yeah,
and as painless as possible.
Yeah,
mate.
because it hurts.
Okay.
Thanks.
No worries at all. Okay, Keith. So we're going to roll you towards Kieran first of all.
It's going to come towards me, mate, okay? We're going to try and do this hopefully as easy as possible without
Just
causing you
follow
too much
what
pain.
Kieran's doing. There we go.
Good work, mate.
Okay, board
Thanks,
in.
doing really well.
So we're going to pop this
coming in now.
board underneath you.
You feel that? Yeah.
There we go.
Good work, mate.
Okay, Kieran, rolling back to me.
Back towards Craig now, then hopefully we should be out in a second.
So we need to bring your head around here, mate.
Yeah.
Nice and
Yeah.
gently, nice and gently. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Onto your side.
Yeah.
Got the head.
Yeah.
Okay.
have the head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got the legs.
Okay, Kieran. Legs up. Watch his legs up, mate.
the head.
I got it.
That's it. There we go.
Thanks.
Okay.
I've got the stabilising the board from in here, mate. Rolling to the left.
Okay. So we'll start sliding. Have we got someone on the head?
Yeah.
Right, can we have Kieran?
Yeah, Kieran, run round, mate. I've got the board.
Craig, rest there.
Okay.
Right, we're on the edge, you take the bird cam, so take the top hand on the ball, mate.
I got the board.
I got Peter's head.
where
Tigers.
yeah, we'll shimmy out, mate, and you go in.
Okay.
Slide it down a little bit.
Okay, we're on the edge.
Gunny.
Right,
Walk it slowly.
Okay, ready?
Right, on three, we're going to move. 1, 2, 3, we move.
If you walk down,
move.
Johnny.
Okay. That's it.
Right, rest
Good work,
there.
mate.
Down on 3. 1, 2, 3, down.
So a really nice example of how these guidelines can support shared decision-making and action between the ambulance and the fire and rescue services. So let's see how they can be used when there's no clinician on scene.
Okay guys, we've got a single vehicle RTC, front seat driver. Okay, I'm looking at the extrication decision tool. He can't self-extricate himself, okay? We've been through the U-step acronym and he can't extricate. There's no need for a snatch rescue currently. He's conscious and breathing. We haven't got any medics on site. So what I need that clinical input before we decide how he comes out. What we're going to do in the meantime is we're going to create space whilst we're awaiting them and we'll support him throughout. So what I want is the side removing, okay? That'll give us the biggest space in the quickest time and that'll give us best access to get him out. Any questions? Okay,
No.
guys, we'll get to work.
You're right there. Just
Right.
stay still for me. I'm Craig. I'm one of the firefighters. Okay, we're going to get you out of here shortly. You're going to hear a lot of popping and a lot of banging. We need to cut this post here and this post here. Okay, I'm going to cover you with a sheet to make you protected so that anything that flies off doesn't hit you and doesn't hurt you. Okay. Also, I'm going to be using this protection in between to keep you safe. Right.
Okay, great.
We're going to get you out as quickly as possible. I just want you to follow my instructions. If at any point you're uncomfortable, you tell me and we'll stop, we'll reassess and we'll make a new plan.
Okay.
Okay, you happy
Yeah.
with that?
Yeah,
Right,
thanks.
if you start to feel unwell, you need to let me know as soon as possible.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, Pete, so what they're going to start doing now is sticking this sticky bit on the side. I'm not going to cover you just yet until we start making some cuts.
Okay.
Okay, so he's sticking this, it's cling film basically, and it holds the glass in place.
So we're going to fast forward this scenario a little bit here, but you can clearly see already that what we've got here is a fire crew which is empowered, and it's taking that initiative to drive that extrication forward, as you see recommended in the consensus guidance.
Okay, now.
He's got it. Okay, you're going to hear a ping, Pete.
Oh, yeah,
You hear it, yeah?
I did hear it.
Good work.
Heard it.
There we
Oh.
go.
That was very loud.
It is, yeah. You're going to hear another one of those in a moment.
And that is a great example of that fantastic communication with the casualty, staying by their side, explaining what's happening and what they can expect to happen next.
Yeah. Pete, I'm just going to move out of the way so they
Okay.
can cut from this side.
So in this case here, we can see that the crew have opted for removing the B-post to create that space. So what that's going to mean is that when the clinical team arrive, that casualty can be out on an ambulance and either being assessed or on their way to hospital really, really promptly.
Okay, Pete, what we're going to do now is, now that we've got this post out, we're going to get you out of the vehicle.
So now we've got the casualty nearing their removal from that vehicle. And even though this is sped up, I think you can see, and it demonstrates really nicely, just how much longer these approaches can take and how much more it adds to that patient's journey to definitive care. So that's stage 3 of the extrication decision tool then, chaps. So this was about delivering the quickest deliverable extrication method on that day. Okay, so we've done a couple of methods there, so the Rapid X and the B post coming out, but there are obviously lots of different ways that might happen. So what things are going to affect us on that day? So what's going to affect the decisions between, making cuts, not making cuts? Give us some examples of things that will affect that.
This is that group of patients that really need good comms between the clinical staff and the non-clinical staff, and probably in this case the fire and rescue teams who are going to assist us to get the patient out of the car. And with regard to the decisions around which extrication method we're going to choose, it's really going to come down to the individual patient requirements, isn't it? And so things like the patient's injuries, where they are, the severity of the injuries, the analgesic requirements, and so on and so on. And so the clinician should have made a rapid assessment, though not too detailed, because we know that we can't rely on that, to work out in liaison with the fire service the best way to get the patient out of the car.
These are the patient group that historically would have probably had, or well, a large chunk of the self-X's would have done back in the day, but had that car deconstructed around them, taking 30 minutes in a real world setting to no additional benefit with that delay, if that makes sense. So what we're saying here is that, this is really important to make sure that there's good communication between the fire and rescue staff, but that this group of patients who get to extrication decision tool stage 3, they're the group that could potentially have really significant injuries even though they haven't shown it yet by having like a low blood pressure or a tachycardia or a high respiratory rate, all those things that we'd be looking for. So we still want to get them out quickly, and that's really, really important. I guess the other thing that I don't know what your thoughts on this are. What's your thoughts about around interventions that we should be doing in this phase? So things like analgesia, anything that we can help?
Yeah, so I think we just need to be really cognizant, don't we, that the more we start to do for patients in the car, the more tied in we get, and the longer that we're going to be trapped for that patient, because we can create a lot of time added by getting too stuck in for that patient. Now, clearly there are going to be situations, scenarios when we need to intervene, and it's not nice at all not to be giving analgesia to patients. But sometimes moving things forward so that we can really provide excellent care away from the car to safety and on the way to hospital is a really important thing to do. But there was one thing in those videos, Rob, that a bit disappointed to see, really. We didn't see a roof coming off a car and a patient coming out backwards like we used to see in those textbooks. So, so do you want to talk to us a bit about that?
Yeah, well, I guess the thing is, I think it's about reinforcing that this is about doing the right type of extrication that you find on that day, rather than having a standard approach that fits everyone. So, have the days of roof off long spinal board extrications gone? Not entirely, no, because there will be some occasions where that is the best option for that patient, but that needs to be a considered decision rather than just applied blanket to every RTC, road traffic collision, that we come across. So yeah, absolutely, there will still be the need for cuts. There'll still be the need for cars to be, spread. There'll be need for dashboard rolls. All of these things will absolutely still need to happen. It's just that for the vast majority of incidents that we go to, that's not appropriate, and it adds time but doesn't add benefit to that patient journey. So like you said, Simon, we're an absolute nightmare for it as clinicians, that we want to be next to that patient. We're very paternalistic. We want to be next to them, helping them, feeling that we're adding value. Whereas in fact, we might just be slowing down their ultimate journey to definitive care and actually definitively getting that sorted. So just that considered approach is what we need. And it's the same with extrication as it is with our clinical interventions. It's the quickest deliverable extrication method on that day when you arrive on scene.
Do you know the other thing that we didn't see throughout all of these videos was anybody sitting in the car holding people's head still? And again, there's many reasons for that, aren't there? I guess one, it comes down to the fact that we know from the evidence that if the patient is conscious, they can hold their head still. We know that they can manage their C-spine adequately. We also know that the incidence of C-spine injuries is really low. But also there's something way more important than holding the person's head still. And that's reassurance and being the patient's advocate and making sure that they're not feeling alone and distressed in that car. I think it's really easy, isn't it, to feel totally removed from that situation. We're not the ones trapped in the car. We're the ones here to help. And so putting yourself in that patient's shoes is quite difficult to do. But actually, we know again from some of the work that's been done on the Exit project, how impactful that can be psychologically for the patient. And so what was really nice to see as a theme all the way through those videos was somebody in there providing reassurance to the patient.
When I've spent time in cars, and have done that. But it's amazing to hear how impactful that is. Just someone explaining it, knowing that they're safe while you're talking to them, explaining all the pops, the cracks, the glass smashes, things like that. Oh, it's like next level stuff. And I think the other thing just to say about the previous extrications that we've just seen in the phase 3 element is that it's absolutely, appropriate for fire crews to be making progress through scenes, isn't it? So actually, if you're not sure about what the right extrication thing is, create space, just like that watch we've just done that we've just watched on that video. They took the B post out prior to a clinician arriving, and what that means is if they need to come out immediately, which hopefully they will do, that can happen like that, rather than have to wait another 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes afterwards once we've arrived. So there isn't that inertia. There's a real, casualty or patient-focused care. So there's someone in there talking to them, explaining what's happening. We're creating space. We're moving that extrication forward so that when the time does arrive that we've got a clinician there, boom, we're good to go.